did ex-ballerina Ashley Benefield kill her husband? Inside the shocking Black Swan murder trial. Ashley Benefield is a former ballerina who killed her estranged husband, Doug Benefield, 5 years ago on September 27, 2020. Ashley's case made national headlines, and she was quickly given the nickname Black Swan because of the 2010 ballerina thriller film by the same name. When Ashley was tried for the murder in 2024, her case took over the headlines and became known as the Black Swan case. Shortly after Ashley fatally shot Doug at her mother's house in Florida, she admitted to shooting her estranged husband, but vehemently claimed that she did so in self-defense after years of alleged abuse. Ashley and Doug married less than 2 weeks after meeting in 2016, but their relationship allegedly took a turn after she got pregnant with their first daughter. During her trial, Ashley claimed that she had endured years of abuse from Doug, and that he even tried to poison her at one point. However, prosecutors argued that there was no evidence of abuse and that the murder was a premeditated effort to keep Doug from seeing their child. Here is everything to know about Ashley Benefield and the so-called Black Swan murder.
Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notification for more interesting life stories.
Ashley was born Ashley Byers and grew up in Maryland. She started studying dance when she was 8 years old, even dropping out of high school to work with the Maryland Youth Ballet. However, by the time she turned 21, her ballet career stalled, leading her to teach dance to children and design costumes. She also tried her hand at modeling, and though she made a portfolio, she never made a career from it, per Vanity Fair. She was a 24-year-old divorcee when she met Doug. Doug was born in Palo Alto, California on October 2, 1961, and raised in Huntsville, Alabama. He majored in biology at Texas A&M University and enlisted in the Navy after graduating. Doug served as a naval flight officer in San Diego, California for 3 years before transferring to Charleston, South Carolina, where he was a mine warfare instructor, later working for the Office of Naval Intelligence before retiring as a lieutenant commander. Following his military career, Doug became a consultant for government security, defense, and communication. He also owned a restaurant in Charleston. Doug was married twice before tying the knot with Ashley. He welcomed a daughter, Eva, in 2001 with his second wife, Renee Kuzar Benefield, who died in late 2015. Ashley met Doug on August 25, 2016, at a Republican campaign event at Dr. Ben Carson's home in Palm Beach, Florida. At the time, she was 24 and he was 30 years her senior. Ashley recalled that Doug was funny and that they clicked right away. He was very loving and attentive, we laughed a lot, and he made me feel very special and loved. Starting the day after they met, Vanity Fair reported that they were in constant communication, and within 6 days they exchanged I love yous. Doug and Ashley married on September 6, 2016, at St. Michael's Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina, after knowing each other just 13 days. There were no guests or witnesses, except for Doug's friend Trip Cormany, who officiated the ceremony. Cormany said in an interview on 48 Hours, The Case of the Black Swan, that he wasn't thrilled with Doug's whirlwind wedding, but explained, "I was being loyal to my friend." Friends of the couple also speculated that Doug and Ashley eloped so that they could have sex without breaking their faith-based belief in abstinence before marriage. Cracks began to show less than a year into Ashley and Doug's relationship. According to Vanity Fair, in June 2017, Ashley read Eva's diary and discovered that her stepdaughter, who was only 9 years younger than her, didn't like her. Doug and Ashley argued over it, and he allegedly threw a gun at a wall. During other arguments, he allegedly punched a hole in the wall and fired a gun into the ceiling of the family home. He also punched their dog, Sully, which he later admitted to. Days later, the pair hosted a wedding reception for family and friends. Then Doug reversed a vasectomy he'd undergone previously, so he and Ashley could start a family together. In August 2017, Ashley learned that she was pregnant. Suffering from severe nausea, she and Doug agreed that she'd stay with her mother in Florida while he focused on their fledgling ballet company. They remained in communication regularly until September 18, 2017, when Ashley drove to their Charleston home, according to 48 Hours. While Doug was at work, Ashley packed up her belongings from their house and left him a letter saying she was completely heartbroken and that she was leaving him. In the note, she listed 21 reasons for ending their relationship, including incidents of alleged abuse like the one when Doug held a gun to his own head, as well as the incidents of hurting their dog, throwing a gun at the wall, and firing a gun at the ceiling. Ashley also specified in the letter that he should not contact her or her mother. Doug texted her that day per Vanity Fair, saying, "I just read the note. I don't even know how to start responding. I will never act the way you talk about again." Doug continued texting Ashley, saying he was going to therapy and begging her to reconcile. Ashley became suspicious of Doug's ex-wife, Renee, and as 48 Hours reported, told Doug's brother that she believed Doug was poisoning her tea while she was pregnant with their daughter. Renee died of a heart condition. Ashley visited several doctors and even went on medications for what she said were sharp pains in her abdomen, but nothing helped. When Doug sent her a tea set as a gift for her birthday in November 2017, she brought it to the local police, who deemed it not hazardous or poisonous. However, Ashley still believed her ex was poisoning her, sending a hair sample for testing to a Colorado company, which alleged she had elevated levels of heavy metals in her hair. In March 2018, Ashley checked into a Florida hospital and alleged that Doug was abusive and poisoned her. The hospital let her check in under her middle name to protect her safety, and doctors delivered Ashley and Doug's daughter, Emerson, via C-section 3 weeks before Ashley's due date. The new mom didn't put Doug's name on Emerson's birth certificate, nor was he informed of the birth until she filed a restraining order against him. Ashley's court documents also included efforts to retain sole custody of Emerson and keep Doug from seeing her. In court, Ashley nana that pregnancy was not uncomplicated and insisted she believed Doug poisoned her. Judge Moreland said there was not a single scintilla of credible evidence that Ashley had ever been poisoned, per audio obtained by 48 Hours. After this, Doug was allowed to see Emerson and hoped he and Ashley were on their way to a romantic reconciliation. The pair even began going to couples therapy together in November 2018, per Vanity Fair. However, Doug eventually became suspicious of Ashley when he continuously had trouble getting a hold of her. Vanity Fair reported that he hired a private investigator to look into the matter, who told Doug that Ashley was seeing another man. They continued couples counseling until that November, when their therapist realized Doug had been recording their sessions, at which point she refused to treat them together but still counseled Ashley individually. In May 2020, Ashley agreed to meet with Doug, and they began going on dates. By the summer, the pair made plans to move together to Maryland, where Ashley grew up, and raise Emerson as a family. Though emails obtained by Vanity Fair indicated that Doug still distrusted Ashley, he rented a moving truck in mid-September to prepare for their move. On the evening of September 27, 2020, Doug came with his rented moving truck to Ashley's mother's house in Florida, where she'd been staying with Emerson, to prepare for their move to Maryland. At 7 p.m., a neighbor called 911. Ashley had shot Doug, then gone to the neighbor's house, gun still in hand, saying Doug attacked her and she was defending herself. When police arrived, Doug was lying on the floor of Ashley's bedroom in her mother's house. He had been shot in the leg and arm. The second bullet also entered his chest. In an affidavit obtained by People, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office wrote, "Based on entry wounds on Douglas, it does not appear that he was facing Ashley when she began to shoot. It also does not appear that Douglas had taken on any kind of defensive or combative stance. Douglas was not found to have any weapons on his person nor near him. Doug was taken to a local hospital where he died of his injuries. He was 58 years old. Ashley and her attorneys maintained that Doug was abusive and controlling throughout their marriage, leading her to live in fear for herself and their daughter. In footage obtained by 48 Hours, Ashley said on the stand, "He would throw things or break things or smash things. He would come at me like he was going to hit me. He told me I was lucky that he punched walls instead of me." She also accused him of screaming at her and driving erratically when he was angry. Ashley also alleged that Doug had hit her in the face just before she shot him, claiming during questioning that was the first time he'd been physically violent against her. In court, Ashley's attorneys also presented a text message to Doug from his late wife Renee, who accused him of kicking her so hard on their honeymoon and holding a gun to his own head on at least 2 occasions, as 48 Hours reported. Prosecutors, however, alleged that Ashley fabricated stories of abuse, including her poisoning claims, because she wanted to keep Emerson away from Doug. Police and witnesses, including the neighbor who called 911, said Ashley did not have any visible injuries other than a small scratch that appeared to have occurred days before the slaying. Doug's cousin, Tommy, claimed her motive was financial. She found him at his most vulnerable, he told People. He was her mark. She took his money, his peace, and eventually she took his life, and he loved her until the end. Ashley was charged with manslaughter and second-degree murder for shooting and killing Doug. On July 30, 2024, a jury convicted Ashley of manslaughter and found her not guilty of second-degree murder. Ashley's $100,000 bond was revoked, and she was placed in custody of the Manatee County Sheriff's Office while awaiting sentencing. Ashley was sentenced on December 3, 2024, to 20 years in prison with 10 years of parole after her legal team attempted to overturn the conviction, alleging juror misconduct.